So I picked up a spool of this ERYONE PLA, and it's a wood PLA. It's not actually made completely of wood, obviously. It's mostly PLA, but it's got fine fragments of wood inside it. I've tried printing with wood PLA in the past and just had nothing but problems. Some of that may have been the filament. Some of it I think is also, I had all Bowden tube printers at that point, and I think these softer filaments like this and some silks, they just don't cope well with the single gear extruder. It can't push them efficiently enough. So when this came along, they do this in a light colour like this and a slightly darker colour, which is sort of a hint of mahogany tone. So I went for this one, and if you accidentally overheat this, you can smell that there is wood particles in it. If you've ever cut something like MDF, you'll recognise the smell. This needs to be a lot cooler than a normal PLA. I've been running it at 180. I think their printing temperatures were, yeah, they suggest 190 to 220, but I found on my printer 180 it seems very comfortable with, and I'm getting good results. I tried it on one of my Bowden printers, and very quickly I was getting what looked like nozzle clogs, but I think it is just that the single gear Bowden extruders don't grip this very well. It feels quite rough, and I think as well it's slightly softer. So I swapped over to, I've got a Sovol SV05 that's been modified, and it's got a Sprite Pro extruder on it, and with that, once I'd found a temperature for it, it's printing fine. So I'm running it at 180 with the bed on 60 or 70, I can't remember which, but it's a steel PEI, textured PEI sheet, and it works fine on that once you get used to it. So I've run off my usual test prints, done a couple of my fidget bolt, and yeah, it's come out really nicely. I've had a bit of hit and miss stuff where it wasn't sticking to the bed, but it was just that I hadn't taken the time to tweak the printer ready for this filament, so I was a little bit too far away. Then I did the usual, coming too close, and once I tweaked that, it was fine. And same with this one. I think I've printed this one first. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I was actually getting the infill showing on the surface of this nut. So all I did, I went back to the design and I made the nut and both ends just 1mm broader, and that's all it was. There wasn't quite enough room to get the walls in without the infill. I could probably have tuned it out in the profile, but either way, they work fine. Nice clean threads. And even the ends have come out really nicely. This is just something I designed as a fidget, and I use it for testing because then it's a consistent item. Trouble is I end up with loads of them, so I wind up giving them away to friends and family all the time. And then I also did a couple of spinning tops. And yeah, really nice finish, even if my cheap cameras can't show it. You know, you're not going to sell this to someone and then think it's wood, but if you want a slight effect, it really works. And you do get that slight textured feel to it. Not sure how much, oops, just bumped the camera. Not sure how much of that is just, you know, the texturing from the bed and everything, but given I was all ready to throw out previous wood filament that I'd tried with and given up on, I may well now circle back to it and see if it was partly wrong printer and not enough settings. So then I did a couple of my pen cups, just knocked this design up ages ago, and yeah, it's come out lovely, nice and strong. No major issues with it at all. I'm really impressed. given the write-off I've had in the past with wood filament, I pretty much assumed I was going to have the same. But I use a lot of ERYONE filament. Yet to have any issues with it that weren't down to me not tuning correctly. So I thought I'd give it a go. I'm very happy with it. I'm going to do a slightly smaller cup as well. Same design, just scaled down a little bit. And again, got a slight flex where it's smaller, but it's rock solid. Layer adhesion's fine. And just to test the thin layer, this is a cover for a control box on an Ender 2 Pro that I've been working on. I generally print these in translucent PLA or PETG because then you can see the lights dancing on the control boards, which I quite like the effect of. I just happened to have the design laying about, so it was a good one to run just to get my nozzle offset about right. And again, you've got that lovely texture from the bed, and the other side has come out really clean. And like all PLA, this is only one layer thick at 0.28 layer height, so you know, it's lovely and flexible. And then I've been working on these stackable drawers, so they just sort of drop together when you're looking at them, not the screen. And then they just got drawers in for storage. Nothing fancy, just got to decide on a design for the handle now. Again, come out really nice. You're not going to fool anybody into thinking it's real wood, but it wouldn't look too out of place on a nice wooden desk. And it's just something a little bit different. And of course, had to do a wagon wheel. So all in all, I'm really impressed with this filament. I will now gradually work back over the other wood filament I've had in the past that's just gone away for storage, just to see if the issue wasn't actually the quality of the filament, and it was just that I was running all Bowden setups back then. But I shall definitely be buying more of this. And next up I want to try out the dark wood colour, because I think if you've got two-tone prints, the combination of the two colours would look absolutely amazing. So there we go. That is the ERYONE wood PLA in the light colour. Another brilliant filament from ERYONE.